Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new Let's Play series on this channel where we have recently finished up my Human Mage level 1 through 60 Let's Play series, and on the day that I am recording this, the Season of Discovery for Classic WoW released, and I have been playing it a lot and I wanted to dive into it with everyone, where I have mentioned in my past series that I want to begin exploring an orc character. So this is going to be an orc Let's Play series, and then I have been deciding what class I want to play, and I was kind of stuck between two different classes. One was Hunter and one was Shaman, and I believe I have made my decision. I could change in like the next 10 seconds, but I am going to create an orc shaman, and with Season of Discovery there is some cool stuff that we can look at, where I'm not going to look at every single new playstyle that is present with the orc shaman, but we're going to look at a lot of them. But let's go ahead and customize this character really quickly, where of course there is a variety of different customization options we can have, and I'm probably just going to go ahead and go with a generic kind of shaman looking person. So I might try to find a cool beard here, and then I always go with like black hair, even though I don't have black hair in real life. So maybe we could go with something like, maybe we could be a little bit of an older shaman, maybe not quite as old as it, oh, there's the super old, this is like getting old ish kind of vibe, but I think this is what I want with an orc shaman. And we can go ahead and name our character, and then we can dive into the world of Azeroth.
Long ago, the orcish horde was corrupted by the Burning Legion and lured to the world of Azeroth. For generations, the orcs made war upon the human kingdoms of Stormwind and Lordaeron. Though the horde was ultimately defeated, a visionary young war chief named Thrall rose to lead his people in their darkest hour. Under Thrall's rule, the orcs freed themselves from the chains of demonic corruption and embraced their shamanistic heritage. After years of wandering, the orcs founded their own kingdom in the harsh wastelands of Durotar. Based in the warrior city of Orgrimmar, they stand ready to destroy all who would challenge their supremacy. As a proud defender of Durotar, it is your duty to crush your enemies, both seen and unseen. For the nefarious agents of the Burning Legion still wander the land.
Where here we are in the world of Azeroth, and we are in Durotar at the starting zone, the Valley of Trials, and I have a lot of stuff that I want to talk about in this episode, and we're going to dive deep into the lore and story of everything going on, but mostly in future episodes, starting with the next episode, where I really just want to talk about a lot of different bits of information that I've been wanting to share about everything going on, where of course we can see quite a few people here in the starting zone, and this is only a fraction of the amount of people that were present in like this area. I'm sure I created an undead character earlier, and there was probably like a solid like couple hundred players like surrounding me on like the one layer in the one server in like the one area of the world that I was in. But let's go ahead and get started, where of course we might have a little bit of competition with doing some quests, but we have some quests that I want to go over, and there are also going to be new quests introduced that we can participate in as a part of the Season of Discovery, where we have played through the vanilla era version of the game, which is very like kind of cut and standard, like modern day vanilla World of Warcraft, or this has some new stuff. So let's go ahead and just do some of the more classic stuff here, where of course we have our first quest that we can participate in, and we as shamans can use a variety of different skills. So let's go ahead and go around the Valley of Trials, and hopefully we don't have to spend too much time trying to find a bunch of different mobs in order to fight, as layers have kind of like been set up and as the population has kind of left the starting area. But of course I'm sure a lot of people are starting to play this server for the first time right now. But we as shamans can basically channel the elements in order to attack our enemies, where starting off we are kind of like a spellcaster, and that can expand to being like a spellcasting healer, and it can also expand to being kind of like a martial fighter with like two-handed weapons. And then with the Season of Discovery we see that expanded to dual wielding two one-handed weapons, which we see introduced in the Burning Crusade expansion, but it is available here in vanilla. And then something that people have been waiting for a very, very long time is an ability to tank as a shaman, which is really cool. And we're probably not going to be exploring tanking too much because I've talked about this a bit on my channel. I'm not super interested in kind of like the in-game content of vanilla World of Warcraft or World of Warcraft in general anymore. I'm mostly interested in the open world and like the stories that are going on there that I want to share. So we're probably not going to be doing a lot of tanking, but I guess there's always a possibility we could. But I am super interested in doing a dual wield orc shaman, and I kind of want to go down like the very basic and like stereotypical route and really dive into kind of like this class and race fantasy that is present, where I'm super interested in using 2 axes, where of course I forgot to read over some of the lore when we were creating our character, but if we come into our spellbook here, we can see our different racial passives and racial abilities, where we have hardiness, where we have an increased chance to resist stun effects by an additional 25%. And then we also have command, a damage dealt by hunter and warlock pets, so not really worth anything to us, but that damage is increased by 5%. And then we have blood fury here, which increases our base melee attack power by 25% for 15 seconds and reduces healing effects on you by 50% for 25 seconds. So this is kind of an interesting racial ability that is going to be actually pretty decent for us, as I am wanting to go down an enhancement shaman route where we are melee fighters, but of course we can also heal ourselves because we can be healing spellcasters, so we have to be very careful about this ability. But I'm going to go ahead and throw that onto my action bar there, and I'll just do my classic Hearthstone right there, and we have our first level up to level 2. But one very important racial passive is Axe Specialization, which increases our skill with axes and two-handed axes by 5, which might not seem like a lot, but when it comes to DPS in classic World of Warcraft, this is actually pretty substantial. So we're definitely going to, if we want to like optimize our DPS, we're definitely going to want to focus on having axes, and I think it would just be fun to kind of go down that very basic stereotypical like kind of route that a lot of people have done and is kind of very prevalent in like the lore and stuff of like shamans wielding 2 one-handed axes, and then maybe we could also get some two-handed weapon action in with like a two-handed axe as well, and we can kind of just have fun doing all of that type of stuff. But of course we can go ahead and finish up this quest of Cutting Teeth, where we have to kill 10 mottled boars, and that actually went pretty decent, where it seems like the spawns are pretty good right now with like the layering and like the hyper spawning that's going on, and there is definitely quite a few people around here, where there was always a lot of people in vanilla era, but I don't think other than in Stormwind we were ever in an area where we saw this many people at one time. So it's definitely really cool to see with like any new release of classic WoW. But let's go ahead and come over here where we can turn in our first quest, and then we are going to be able to pick up some new quests, including some brand new quests that are added to the game for the first time ever right here. So let's go ahead and get these gloves, I think, and then we can go ahead and get some more quests, one of which is going to lead us to our Shaman Trainer, which is a very standard quest. But the Shaman Trainer now has a brand new quest, and I have no idea what this is. So Icons of Power. Shamanism is an ancient practice at this. Many artifacts full of spiritual energy can be found across Azeroth. I had recently discovered an icon of notable power myself, but it was stolen by those pesky scorpions. One of them is likely carrying it around, thinking it is a shiny curio to be used as a decoration for their nest. When you find the icon, learn its power, and return to me. Find the stolen icon by slaying scorpions in the Valley of Trials, learn its power, then return back to Shikrik, where this is going to give us a brand new ability. So let's go ahead, and I hovered over it if you want to pause the video for a moment, but let's go ahead and wait to look at what that ability is until we unlock it. And let's go ahead and come pick up these quests and also check what I can equip, where this is some new stuff, and then we can sell all of our extra stuff. So we currently have 4 quests. So there are 3 quests showing on Questy, because I do not believe it is updated for like all the new quests. I don't think all the new quests have been like discovered. Well, when it comes to Season of Discovery, I think there's really only kind of like the new quest at the beginning, but I could be wrong. There is definitely a lot of stuff to explore, but there is a lot of cool stuff that we can go over as we progress through this character and kind of see more things, where I'll talk more about runes as we kind of unlock it for the first time. But we need to come over here and we need to find scorpids, and we also need to get cactus apples, and there's also a quest over here where we can help this troll that has been poisoned by the scorpids, and we can kind of claim vengeance for him. But we have scorpids all around this area, and they drop the worker tails that we need, so we can go ahead and kind of work on getting all of them. And they drop pretty frequently, not 100% drop rate, but it's like a pretty good drop rate. But I believe the item that we need, this icon of power, is going to have a low, never mind, we just got on the first one. So we can go ahead and learn a new ability after receiving nature damage 10 times. Wait, this isn't what we need. This is a completely different thing. This is a totem. So learn a new ability after receiving nature damage 10 times. Okay, so we need to reach level 3. This is so cool. We need to reach level 3 so we can equip that into our relic slot, which is a special item that only shamans can use, and I don't have a lot of experience with it. So let's go ahead and get to level 3, and then I think we're going to learn a new ability from this quest, and then we'll get another new ability from this icon. But we have to receive nature damage 10 times in order to learn it, and I'm not entirely sure what would be able to give us nature damage in this area. Maybe the poison counts as nature damage, I'm not entirely sure, but we can equip it. And then I think I know an area further in Durotar that we might get to next episode where we could definitely get nature damage, but maybe we'll get it before then. But first steps first is we have to get to level 3, and let's go ahead and join a group here so we can go ahead and fight Sarkoth. And then maybe I'll go into general really quickly to see if anyone says anything, and it looks like nobody did, so we can get that. And then I can say TY, and then I'm going to leave the party, and then we can go ahead and continue fighting the scorpions around here because we need 9 more tails, and then we need to get that one item. I was also so distracted by picking up all the new quests that I did not go to the shaman trainer, so we can go ahead and go train once we get back to town. So it looks like this poison is actually nature damage. So if you get to level 3, we can go ahead and equip this, and then maybe we could stick around and fight scorpions for a little bit longer just to get hit 10 times, because the relic here says after receiving nature damage 10 times, and that's a ticking dot that deals nature damage each time it ticks, I think. So I think we'd only have to fight a few scorpions actually in order to get that, which we might even get that before we finish this quest, because we're about to level up to level 3, and then we're going to have to fight more scorpions. And of course there are a ton of people around here, but let's go ahead and turn in this quest, Sarkoth here. That was one of like the 2 big bosses in the starting area. So we can go ahead and return to the main town, which I might actually go do that and train, and then we can come back here. I'll just fight a few more scorpions along the way. Oh, actually we leveled up to level 3. I didn't. Let's go ahead and equip this, and there's just so much stuff I want to talk about. Let's go ahead and get hit by this nature damage 10 times, and hopefully we can learn a new skill from this. Go ahead and cast my lightning bolts at the scorpion worker, and if we are ever in danger of dying, or if we ever take some damage, we can go ahead and use our healing ability here called Healing Wave that will heal us by 35 to 46 health. So I'm at 100% health, but this is what it looks like. So it is pretty nice. Where of course, as a mage character in my last Let's Play series, we didn't have a lot of opportunities to heal ourselves outside of eating food out of combat or just letting our health naturally regenerate, as well as special potions, healing potions that we can drink, which of course we have access to that as a shaman, but we also have access to healing skills. My lightning bolt is nature damage, so I wonder if I could like duel another shaman and have him cast like lightning bolt on me 10 times, and I wonder if that would count for that or not. It's kind of an interesting idea right there. I think there is some stuff in the season of Discovery where you have to interact with other people to unlock stuff, where I know there's like something to do with like troll priests, where people have to do something with a troll priest to unlock stuff. And I think there's something to do with like hunters, or maybe even a shaman thing. I've been playing a little bit, and I've been playing a mage, so I've been exploring some of the mage stuff, which is super interesting, and I'm super happy that I get to explore another thing with shamans, where of course one very interesting part of Season of Discovery, which there is a lot, but that I have not mentioned yet, is that it is level banded, meaning that there are 4 phases of content that is present in the game until we reach level 60, where we have our first level band, which is from level 1 to 25. So currently the maximum level in the game is level 25, and we're level 3, so we're partway there already. But at level 25, there's a special 10-man raid taking place in Blackfathom Deeps that we may or may not explore, and there is open world PvP in a zone known as Ashenvale that we will get to soon enough, that I am super excited to play in. But of course I'm playing on a normal realm, which I don't think is going to be a problem with that content, but of course there's no like explicit open world PvP without people voluntarily doing it. So I have taken some nature damage from this weak poison, but I'm not sure if it has been enough, and I'm not sure if it even counts. I'm pretty sure it counts, but it doesn't really show in my combat log when I get hit by the poison, so we'll see. And of course, I do not believe I have gotten the icon of power, unless this is the icon, which actually makes a little bit more sense. So I think this is the thing we need for this quest, because you need a stolen icon, and this is a dyadic icon. So I think this is for the quest. So we're only going to be learning 1 new skill, and I think it would make sense that the scorpids deal nature damage to us that we need for this icon. So let's go ahead and just continue fighting some of them. I need 1 more tail, and then hopefully we'll complete this. So I just like accidentally right clicked on it and then it started channeling something, so I'm going to kill this scorpion real quick. And then we have some stuff we could probably get rid of. We have a cloak, so let's go ahead and get that. And then let's go ahead and right click this, the dyadic icon, where we learn relic. And then we learned, yes indeed, we learned a brand new spell. So basically how this works is that there are 12 different runes around the world. The first to wish is like very easy, like we just did, and very early on to unlock, and the rest are further and further into the game, where basically each armor piece has 4 different runes, and there are only 3 armor pieces at the start of the game, and then we'll get, I believe, all or most of them by the level 60 at the end of our journey. But we have unlocked the first rune for our chest piece, which is Overload. So we can engrave your chest or robe with the Overload rune, give you a lightning bolt, chain lightning, chain heal, healing wave, and lava burst. Those are all a lot of different spells. Spells a 33% chance to cast a second similar spell on the same target at no additional cost that causes half damage or healing and no threat. So this is super interesting, and we do not have a chest piece, but we can go turn in the quest actually, and we can get a chest piece, which is nice. And we have to basically cast this on every single new chest piece we get, which at the start of the game you'll probably get a lot, so you'll probably have to like do this a bunch, but as you get like further and further into the game you don't have to do it, and it's only like 3 seconds or whatever. It's not that big of a deal, but I saw someone complaining about it, so I'm sure some people are frustrated by that. But since we have unlocked this rune, we have unlocked it forever, and it is on our character sheet here forever, and whenever we want we can put it on our chest piece and we can swap it out with other chest runes we get. But let's go ahead and turn this in, where we got this new leather vest, which is pretty cool, and let's go ahead and throw this onto my chest piece. And I believe this is a passive talent in like the Wrath of Lich King expansion, and I'm curious when we come into runes here, it is indeed a passive, so we do not learn a brand new spell with this one. So basically whenever we cast lightning bolt, which is our primary attack right here, we have a 33% chance to basically cast 1.5 lightning bolts. So that basically increases our damage by what's the math, like 12.5% or something like that. I don't know the math. I think it's 16%. So if our only damage output was lightning bolts, our damage is now permanently increased by 16% by having that talent, which is cool. And let's go ahead and get this cape here, And then, of course, there is a lot of server lag going on right now, so it takes a few tries sometimes in order to turn in the quest. Sometimes looting is stalled, sometimes picking up like different items around the world is stalled, which I guess that's the same thing as looting. And like, you know, sometimes you're running around the world, or like any interactions or stuff is stalled because there are a lot of people on these servers, because a lot of people, including myself, are very excited about this. But let's go ahead and just run around the road a little bit, where I have these 3 quests that I can work on. One of which is to fight the Vile Familiars, where if we come into this quest here, we can see that there is a group of Burning Blade, which is basically kind of like an evil group of like mostly orcs that kind of worship the Burning Legion, more or less, that we can really talk more about in the future. But as an orc character, we are going to be interacting with them a lot as we go through Durotar, and then even in other zones as well, where the first dungeon for the Horde is actually a dungeon that really revolves around the Burning Blade. But when it comes to questing, there might be some quests that I skip, because I think that person is kind of just sitting at that lazy peon and is going to basically hit them with a stick in order to wake them up every time. Where of course these lazy peons are kind of like a reference to Warcraft 3, where their dialogue is the same as Warcraft 3 and kind of similar or the same as previous Warcraft games, which is kind of fun. And we see the same thing going on with like the basic like human workers, and that was insane. This overload just went off like 3 times in a row, so I think we got very lucky there. And we also leveled up to level 4, and I have forgotten to train, and I'm not going to stall any longer. Let's go back and train. I see this lazy peon. Let's go ahead, grab it. No one else is running that person might be grabbing it, but I got it. And it looks like, oh, maybe they want the cactus apples. Wish we can get these cactus apples. Just whack this peon. Let's just go ahead and turn in this quest really quickly, which gives us some food that actually buffs us up by increasing our stamina and spirit by 2 for 15 minutes. And now let's go ahead and not sell that. We can see kind of like the server delay going on right there. Let's go ahead and come over here, where we have a Shaman quest that has been in the game for a long time. But let's talk to the Shaman trainer first, where we can learn a Rockbiter weapon, which we can learn at level 2, which basically we have different like weapon enhancements that we can put on our weapons that do different things, and they're really cool. But this basically just increases our attack power by 41, and it also increases the threat that we generate by a little bit, it looks like. So let's go ahead and just equip that. And then we have Earth Shock. So Shocks, just like the weapon enhancements, is another very basic kind of Shaman utility skill that does a lot of things, where this deals 17 to 19 nature damage as an instant cast. So similar to our Lightning Bolt, but it's an instant cast. It costs more mana, but it also interrupts the spell casting and prevents any spell from that school from being cast for 2 seconds. Also causes a high amount of threat. So this is kind of good for Shaman tanking, but it's also nice for us, especially whenever we fight a spellcaster, where we can use a shock in order to interrupt the spell casting. So we need to remember that we have this utility item available for us. But let's go ahead, go back out on the road, and we can go ahead and work on more quests, where we just picked up Call of Earth, where a very special shaman thing that goes on with this class is that you can use 4 different totems that you will learn throughout the game. One we learn now, one I think we learn at like level 10, and then level 20 I believe, and then level 30 I believe, where we can basically have a bunch of totems that go down on the ground, and they will do different things around them. For the most part, they just buff us up a lot. But the first is Earth Totem, where we can go ahead and get 2 Fellstalker hooves as the first part for us to basically commune with Earth and to be able to channel the powers of Earth in order to buff us up or to fight back against enemies. Whack, whack, whack. So let's go ahead and come into this cave here, the Burning Blade Coven, and let's find a bunch of Vile Familiars and some Fellstalker hooves from the Fellstalkers here, where basically we just need to run around this area. We can use our Instacast Earth Shock layer to tag this Vile Familiar, and we can just fight a bunch of stuff, where it might be advantageous for us to kind of group up with other people around here. We'll just see how people are feeling, but mostly I kind of want to look for the Fellstalker hooves in here, where I see some over there, and it looks like this is kind of a good spot for us to fight some stuff. Right now, looks like there's just people everywhere. But I definitely really like this overload passive ability, except it's really only beneficial for people that like spellcasting as a shaman, where as we get more into the enhancement tree, I might be relying on lightning bolt a little bit less, and I might try to get a different rune for my chest piece. But in the meantime, it is super nice, and there is the first hoof we need. And there's the second hoof, so let's go ahead and focus on getting vile familiars. Or let's go ahead and slash yell, looking for a group vile familiars to just speed this up a little bit, and we can go ahead and work together with other people in order to complete this quest, where I avoided that Fellstalker somehow. But let's come over here and fight this one, and then we'll need 7 more after that. I got a full group of 4 orcs and 1 troll, where of course orcs and trolls share this starting area, very similar to how the dwarves and gnomes share their own starting area as a member of the alliance, which means that each faction only has 3 different starting zones, where Durotar is one of them, and then of course we'll explore the other 2, and then the other 2 of the alliance in the future, where we only need 3 more vile familiars, and we only need 1 more vile familiar, so 0 more vile familiar. So I'm going to say TI for the group, and then I'm going to go ahead and dip out of here, and maybe they can kind of keep that group going on, or maybe it will be like a little bit of like Theseus ship, where new people will join and people will leave, and then it'll be like I form that group of 5 people, and maybe it'll be a group of 5 people, but it'll be all 5 brand new people that kind of like come in to do the quest where like the originals have left. So is it like the same group, or is it a different group? Oh no, we're shamans. We got to think about that type of stuff. Let's equip that, and then I think that is the only upgrade we have, so let's go ahead and just sell everything else in my inventory. And then I keep trying to accidentally sell that, but that time I clicked on it on accident, not on purpose. But let's go ahead and come over here where we have these 2 quests right here, and then one way over there where this quest is going to give us the next part of our shaman quest line here, with basically getting our earth totem. So let's go ahead and just pick it up, and let's go pick up a new club, so that deals a little bit more damage, and we have a new quest, and that is a new quest to go back to the Burning Blade Coven, which will allow us to defeat the leader. And I'll equip this, and then we have another quest right here that is going to send us back that way as well for us to get this man's pick. But first, let's go ahead and come all the way over here where we need to find Spirit Rock and drink the Earth Sapta, where we have this that allows the shaman to see elemental spirits. And this is a really cool little area of the road that basically only shamans are guided to, but of course everyone can come here. That is something that I really enjoy, where we will have a clear view of an area of the world that we cannot go to right now. Technically, we could run there, but we'll die. We have to level up in order to combat the enemies around us, and it's actually pretty early on because it is the 2nd zone in Kalimdor that we will be going to around level 12, and we have the Barrens right here where I just leveled up to level 5, and we can see a special town over there, and we can see a lot of mountains and a hut over there, and it looks like a ship, and this is like a big bay, and there is a boat that comes into here, of course. But let's go ahead and continue up the hidden path here, where 1 troll shaman is coming back down, and another orc shaman who is about to experience this quest is heading up. So let's just follow the road here. And this is a really cool thing about shaman quests, where they kind of take us to special areas of the world where there's not really anything else going on except the shaman quest, and it's just like a secluded little like den or cave or like mountain recess or whatever, where we are at Spirit Rock. Let's go ahead and consume the Sapta when we are closer to Spirit Rock, and we can talk to the minor manifestation of Earth, where there are some other Earth elementals around. We can go ahead and complete this quest, and then we can bring the rough quartz, which is basically proof of our journey, back to the shaman trainer once it picks up for us. And this will unlock Earth Totem, which is 1 of 4 totems that take up some inventory slots, and my undead that I was playing on, I maybe made a tailor, and I might have some bags that I may send to this character, plus some gold every now and then, so we don't really have to focus on gold farming in this Let's Play series, and I can still buy skills and stuff to show them off and get them out to level 40 and 60. but we will have some bag slots. But earth totems, very notorious in classic WoW. 4 totems take up 4 different bag slots, and I think it's not until the Burning Crusade where you can get a totem that combines all 4 into one, and then it's not later on into retail when that's completely removed from the game altogether. But here is one of the shamans. We can go ahead and turn in Call of the Earth, and we can get our Earth Totem once the server catches up, and we learn Stone Skin Totem, which we can put onto our action bar. And in later versions of the game, you get like special buttons up here that you can press with like special bindings that will allow you to put the totems down on the ground. But I believe only in vanilla we have to put them onto our action bars, which I might be relying on a lot of different action bars to kind of store some stuff up, because I think shamans are one of the classes that have like the most abilities in the game. And of course you don't necessarily want to use like every single ability, but I like having access to like most of them at least. But at the start of the game at level 5, we don't have too many different abilities right now, so I don't think it's too big of a deal. But we can summon a Stone Skin Totem with 5 health at the feet of the caster. The totem protects party members within 20 yards, reducing melee damage taken by 4. So basically this is just a defensive totem, which means we take less damage from people hitting us with like melee attacks. So most enemies that we interact at the start of the game here. But let's come back into this coven for one last time, where we have 2 quests to complete, and these quests might take a long time to complete. So let's go ahead and head over here for the first one, where we need to pick up this pick that is laying right there, and nobody is queued up for it right now. Nobody's coming behind me, so this one's pretty easy. Way back in the day of the original release of Classic WoW, you would have a line to pick up this pick going out for a very long time. But nowadays it seems to be easier because of like different respawn rates as well as layering and stuff. But the second quest might be a little bit more difficult for us. So let's go ahead and maybe invite this person into the group here. And let's go ahead and come over this way, and then we can invite more people into the group so we can complete this quest, where we need to fight a leader of the Burning Blade, that is the leader of this coven. And we can go ahead and get this Burning Blade medallion, and we can spread the news, where there is a lot of people right here. This might take a moment. It looks like this group is not civilized. I am on North American servers, and we know how people on these servers can be. So this might be kind of like a free-for-all going on right now. He instantly dies whenever he spawns, because everyone is trying to hit him at the same time. Oh, looks like we got him. So let's go ahead, loot his corpse, and we'll get a Burning Blade medallion. Let's say thank you to the party, and let's get out of here. So that's definitely kind of like one of the weaker parts of World of Warcraft's like gameplay experience. Let's go ahead and fight our way out of here, where I could actually use a Hearthstone. But for people who don't know, you can have your Hearthstone set to different locations around the world, where it's automatically set where you basically spawn into the world, and then you can set it at inns around the world, where every hour after a 10-second cast you can teleport to that location. So here we are back at the beginning, and let's go ahead and turn in these quests, and let's head out into the world of Azeroth at large, to the lands of Durotar, where we're technically in Durotar right now, but we're in the starting area of Durotar, where we are sent on a mission to Sinjin Village, and we will also be sent to Razor Hill, where Durotar is a really interesting zone, where there's a lot of liberty in how you can kind of approach this zone, which is true with like every game, but a lot of zones have kind of like a lot more structure with like set paths that you can go through in this zone, where there's basically 2 distinct areas we could go to right now, one of which is Sinjin Village and one of which is Razor Hill. And I think I'm going to start with some stuff around Razor Hill, then we'll come back down to Sinjin Village, and then we'll be going back to Razor Hill, and then we'll be doing some stuff out in the wilds of Durotar as well. But that is going to be for the next episode. Let's just get to Razor Hill for now. I think technically what most people do is they go to Sinjin Village and they do a bunch of quests around here, but some of them are kind of high level for where we are right now. So I like to basically kind of go to Razor Hill, do a little bit of stuff around there, and then come to Sinjin. It's just something that I personally enjoy. But we have this quest here called A Peon's Burden, which is basically going to teach us about the inn, where we can go to the innkeeper in Razor Hill, and we can get some items here, which I could choose food or water. I think I'll probably go with the water, even though we don't really need a lot of mana as a shaman for the most part. Like we need mana and we're going to run out of mana, but we don't have a huge mana pool, so it kind of gets restored pretty quickly, where like this mana restores more mana than we currently have right now, which is not the case if you're playing like a mage or a warlock or a priest. But there are so many cool areas here in Durotar, like we are passing by right now, that I am excited to talk about next episode. And if you are someone who is super into the lore and story of Azeroth, I really do hope you enjoy this Let's Play series, because I want to spend a lot of time talking about the lore and story of this world, like I have done in my last Let's Play series, and like I really focused on kind of like the latter third of my Let's Play series. I really started diving deep into the lore and story of Azeroth, and less of kind of like the gameplay and random discussions of the world and like my life and stuff like that. So I've learned a lot from my previous Let's Play, and I hope you enjoy this Let's Play as well. Where I guess let's go fight one enemy so we can experience a totem. So let's go ahead and attack this dire mortar boar right here and throw a stone skin totem on the ground, and our warlock was attacking it for some reason. And we can see the totem kind of just hangs out on the ground right now. It looks kind of like a torn totem, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and loot this. And then I think it basically lasts for like 5 minutes or whatever. And I don't think there is any way to remove it in Classic WoW other than moving it, which you can do that to move it, or getting far enough away from it, which is kind of a problem in Classic WoW, because there is a high chance that that totem could pull an enemy that then would destroy the totem and then come running after us, which you see happen as kind of like a rookie mistake, and that veterans even do. We see it just disappeared because we ran far enough away, but that happens in like raids and dungeons and stuff like that, which could lead to a wipe, and we have to be careful about that in the open world as well. So let's go ahead and come up here, where I'm going to go ahead and pick up a quest to fight the Koteros humans that are located around here, and we can start off with that, where there is also a quest up at the watchtower there. That we can pick up right here, and this will get us a 4-slot bag, which is pretty nice, but it also takes us to the Koteros humans, as well as another location that I am wanting to explore very soon. But for the end of this episode, let's go ahead and come to the inn, where I want to turn in this quest, and then we can set our Hearthstone, and then we can check our inventory and stuff around here. Where actually, now that I think about it, there is one more thing that I want to do really quickly. So sit tight for just one moment, and let's go ahead and explore that, where we can turn in this quest, and then set our Hearthstone here, and then let's go ahead and sell some stuff. And then let's come out here, where I want to explore professions very quickly, and in a future episode I am planning on having an entire episode that is dedicated to professions and talking a lot about professions. But I really want to pick up one profession right now so we can get started on it, and I'm not 100% sure if we can actually do it around here or if we have to go to somewhere else. So let's talk to this grunt. So let us seek a profession trainer, and I want to learn skinning, and it looks like we have to go to Orgrimmar for that actually. So what's one last adventure in this episode? I wasn't planning on doing this in this episode, but I'm kind of interested. So let's go through this canyon right here, and let's go to the capital city of the orcs and the capital city of the Horde, and the main like largest stronghold in this map, Orgrimmar, which is the counterpart to Stormwind City, which is the capital of the humans and Alliance, and is located in Elven Forest. And we went there in like episode 4 of my last Let's Play series, so let's just go there in episode 1 of this one, where there is a lot of stuff that we can explore in this city if we want. And we are going to be spending a few episodes kind of going to different areas around Orgrimmar, and we will be returning here for basically our entire Let's Play series, similar to Stormwind on our Human Mage. But in this episode, let's go ahead and just beeline to the skinning trainer, and we can go ahead and learn this profession, where professions, of course, are different things that we can learn to do different stuff. Where basically there are a lot of professions that allow you to craft different pieces of weapon and armors and stuff like that, where I am very interested in that, but I am interested in leatherworking down the line, where we can create a leather armor for this character, and I'm interested in skinning, which will allow us to get leather to feed for our leatherworking. And in Classic WoW, you only have access to 2 primary professions, so skinning and leatherworking are going to be the 2, I think. And I might go ahead and just learn both of them, I suppose, and I should probably spend some time getting some gold as well. And then there are 3 other secondary professions that everyone can learn: fishing, cooking, and first aid, that we can also explore. I probably won't do too much of first aid, maybe just a tiny bit. But up ahead, we have Orgrimmar, and this is a really cool location because you, as the player character, if you play Warcraft 3, kind of build Orgrimmar, where you play as Rexxar in the final bonus campaign for that game, for its expansion, The Frozen Throne, and you basically work with like Thrall and Gazlo, who is a goblin, and you create this entire city, where here in World of Warcraft we can enter the city. And of course, World of Warcraft takes heavily from Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 as well as a bunch of other books, and we'll be talking a lot about that constantly throughout this series, because I like the previous Warcraft games quite a bit when it comes to like the story and like the world development that occurs here. But this is Orgrimmar, and we are in the Valley of Strength, where if you take a look at our map here, Orgrimmar is basically divided into a bunch of different valleys: the Valley of Honor, Wisdom, Strength, and Spirits, with 2 other locations called the Cleft of Shadows, which we will explore soon enough, and the Drag, which is basically kind of a connecting like area for all these different valleys, and is also home to most of the profession trainers in Orgrimmar. And it looks like the Darkmoon Fair is pretty soon, where I guess it is now December 1st. I am playing at midnight right now, and it just became a new day, and I think that just spawned like 3 minutes ago, or an hour ago, because rum time, it's Mountain Standard Time on the rum, or whatever. But the Darkmoon Fair is showing up pretty soon, which is cool, and maybe we could explore that a little bit. It depends on how much I recorded like this week, and kind of like make a bunch of videos for weeks coming up, and what else I do in that regard. But we are here in the Drag, and I believe we have to come here to Kodohide Leatherworkers, and we need to come into here and learn skinning and leatherworking, and we also need to learn or to pick up a skinning knife. So basically, whenever we fight any monster out in the world, we can go ahead and skin them, and we will get leather, and we can also learn this leatherworking here. And I think that's pretty much everything that I need. And next time we explore this character again in my Let's Play series, in the next episode, I think I'm going to send some bags to this character, so we'll have some bags and maybe a little bit of money just to pad out our economy a little bit. But let's go ahead and run back to Razor Hill, and I think this little bit of a tangent at the end of this episode. Oh, there's a level 10 person right there. Let's try to help this person out maybe. Let's heal them up. So we can go ahead and heal them up, and it looks like people helped out as well. So let's just heal them to full, and then let's run. And we are currently flagged for PvP, where I think that's a Season of Discovery thing actually, which is pretty cool. And if there are any alliance around here, they could attack us, but I don't think there's going to be alliance. Though I do think across a bunch of servers, people were making gnome characters and running to like every starting zone in the game, so like all the other starting zones, including the Horde ones. So that might be interesting if we come across a gnome. But the Season of Discovery really is kind of that name, where there is a lot of stuff to discover during this season of World of Warcraft Classic, and I am super excited to be exploring all this, where we have our new ability here, which is a passive trait called Overload, which I like quite a bit right now because it has been helping us out a lot. And of course, there is a bunch of stuff to come in the future, and I am excited to share it as well. And I'm not a big PvP person anymore in Classic WoW, but I am definitely excited to try out the open world PvP in Ashen Vale. Once we get like 20 or probably a little bit less than that, we could start participating in that, more levels, and we can get to Ashen Vale and we can start exploring that, and then maybe some instance content. But I'm very, very excited to really get all of these runes unlocked from different areas around the world, where we have to explore special locations, complete unique challenges, and just do a bunch of stuff to unlock all of these runes. And there's even some bonus stuff where we may pick up next episode from a random drop in the world some supplies, where we could turn in the supplies to a brand new reputation person in order to get some money and some reputation, or we can basically like complete the supply order where we have to go get different items, where I did one on my mage where I had to get 20 herb baked eggs, where as an undead mage I had to go all the way to Mogor really, and I fought a bunch of talons and I got 20 eggs, and then I made those herb baked eggs and I completed that supply run basically. And I am super excited for us to explore that on this character, and everything else with the Season of Discovery, and everything else with playing a shaman, and everything with all the different professions, and everything to do with the Horde and the orcs and Kalimdor, and even going to Eastern Kingdoms a little bit, even though I really want to focus on Kalimdor in this Let's Play series, but we will still be doing a bunch of stuff in the Eastern Kingdoms. I'm particularly excited for Stranglethorn Vale, and also for the Sea of Sorrows, the Swamp of Sorrows, and some other areas around there as well. But that is all for the future of this Let's Play series, where I talked about a lot of stuff in this video, and I hope you all enjoyed this first look at Season of Discovery, and as playing as an orc character in Kalimdor and as a shaman with me. And I really, really do hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the World of Azeroth. Goodbye.